Hello everyone. So today we'll be talking about JavaScript. JavaScript is a real programming language, but HTML and CSS are not really a programming language because HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language and CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheets. But JavaScript, on the other hand, is a programming language. So let's learn what is JavaScript. So JavaScript is a lightweight interpreted or just-in-time compiled programming language. Okay, what does that mean? So programming languages are of two type. Let's go ahead and have a read at Free Code Camp. You can always use Free Code Camp resources. They are very good. So interpreted are those interpreters, those whom use interpreters run through a program line by line and execute each command and then interpret the code to machine code, and then machine just runs it, right? On the other hand, compiled languages are converted directly into machine codes that the processor can execute. As a result, they tend to be faster and more efficient. Yes, that is correct. First, interpreted languages are needed to be interpreted first, and compiled languages are converted directly into machine code. So these are a bit faster, but JavaScript is nor interpreted nor compiled. It is just in time compiled. We can have a read here. What is that? So basically both best of both worlds, right? Best features from compiled languages and best features from interpreted languages are taken into just-in-time compilation. Okay, so JavaScript is a programming language with first-class functions. What are first-class functions? A programming language is said to have first-class functions when functions in that language are treated like any other variables. We can pass in a variable into other functions easily. We don't know what a function is yet, or what are variables, or what are passing an argument, but we will learn all of these. Don't worry. Let's just understand what is JavaScript. JavaScript is a programming language with first-class functions, and it is most well known as the scripting language for web pages. So web browsers, all of the web browsers use JavaScript. I am using JavaScript, you are using JavaScript. Even if you are using a mobile phone, mobile phones run JavaScript as well at a web page. All of the browsers basically use JavaScript. Many non-browser environments also use it, like Node.js. Node.js is used for backend as well. So we can use JavaScript in front end, we can use JavaScript in backend. JavaScript has some more features, like it is prototype based, multi-paradigm, single-threaded, dynamic language. Okay, so what does all of these mean? So prototype based is a style of object-oriented programming in which classes are not explicitly defined but rather derived from adding properties and methods to instance of another class. Okay, so it is basically a style of object-oriented programming, but a bit simpler, I would say. And multi-paradigm, I'm not sure what is that. Let's Google it. We can always Google things if we don't know anything. Okay, so supporting more than one programming. Okay, so we are supporting more than one programming paradigm. It is single threaded, meaning it can do only one thing at a time. Let's have a read as well. Thread in computer science is execution of running multiple tasks or programs at the same time. So we can use multiple threads to do multiple things, but JavaScript is single threaded, meaning it can only do one thing at a time and not many things at a time like other languages. But we can use multiple thread in other ways. We will see those in upcoming days. It is dynamically typed language, meaning it is not statically typed like C, C++, or any of those statically typing language, meaning that when we are assigning a variable, we do not need to set a type. Like, let's say if we want to assign a variable to C or C++, we need to mention first that okay, this variable will have number, or this variable will have let's say a string. String is a sentence, let's say, or anything. Let's see what is a string. String in, okay, let's have a look at JavaScript string. The string object is used to represent and manipulate the sequence of characters. Okay, so some characters equal to string. I mean this sum of some characters is a string. This is a string. We will see what is a string, but the basic point here is when we are using dynamical typing, we don't need to assign what type of value will our variable have. Okay, so and okay, we can JavaScript at the ECMAScript language specification. ECMAScript is also JavaScript, but it was its old name, and there is a committee regulating the JavaScript. So if anyone can make JavaScript, everyone will make JavaScript, right? But there is ECMAScript with the convention, with a guideline to control the JavaScript development. Okay, so let's have a read to our next stuff. Okay, JavaScript first steps in our JavaScript module. Okay, let's go ahead and learn some basics of JavaScript. Okay, JavaScript is a programming language that adds interactivity to our website. Let's say this is a website, and if we do not have JavaScript, we cannot use interactivity, right? Meaning we cannot do things like changing this text after we click. Let's see. Okay, we can manipulate the DOM. What is a DOM? Let's search for it as well. It is document object model, but let's have a read to understand things better. The document object model is the data representation of the objects that comprise the structure and content of a document of on the web. Okay, so what is DOM? DOM is a tree, which, let's have a look at a graph. We can go for images, and as you can see, this is a tree structure: document, root element, HTML element, head, title, href, anchor tag, h1. We can target any of these and manipulate these with JavaScript. We cannot do this in any other way. We cannot do this with HTML, or we cannot do this with CSS or anything basically. Let's have a look. How do we write JavaScript? So we need to go to our HTML and CSS file and create another one. Let's create with script.js, and we need to add the script here. We add it by the end of the body. We need to define the source as well, script.js, and we need to close it as well. We can define our script here as well. You might remember the CSS, inline CSS, external CSS, and internal CSS. We can write script here as well, but like CSS, we will use it outside of the in a separate file basically. We'll see the other approaches as well, but let's go ahead and do this one first. And let's go ahead and console log first. Console log hello world, the classic. Everyone writes hello world at first for some reason, I don't know why. But maybe it indicates that the programming is saying hi to the world, like hello world. This is not the hello world, this is the hello world from here. So let's comment it out, and as you can see, there's nothing. Where is our hello world, right? So we have it here, right here in the console. We did a console.log, meaning print out in the console. We can write anything here. Let's say we do console.log first JavaScript code. Let's zoom in a bit. So we're doing first JavaScript code, and as you can see, we have it here. We can see script.js line 1, we have hello world. Line 2, we have first JavaScript code. So it is just printing out onto the console whatever we are saying here. So let's go ahead and do some manipulation of DOM and show you guys what JavaScript can do. Let's do this here, hello world example. As you can see, I've commented this h1 out here, and there are no h1 now, but let's comment it back in and let's just delete the value. So now there's no hello world. As you can see, we have nothing here. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this const my heading. So these are a bit technical for now. I will explain what's going on, but let's see if we got the hello world. Yes, indeed we got the hello world, but how did we get it? Okay, let's see. So we have our h1 here. You must have seen my HTML videos. If you didn't, I would encourage you to watch the HTML first and then watch this video. HTML, then CSS, and then JavaScript. You should be learning in this order. Okay, so JavaScript, what is JavaScript doing? This is a const variable. Const stores variable that cannot be changed. We can store variable in var, we can store variable with let, we can store variable with const. So let's add variable head equal to head, variable let equal to head 2 equal to head 2, and head 3 equal to head 3. Okay, so this is a variable just holds a value for you. So this is a string. Anything you type in between these, what are these called? I forgot actually. Let's just Google it. Quotation, right? Sorry. Okay, so whatever you write in this quotation, that is a string. We can use a single quotation or double quotation, it doesn't matter. So whatever we write in these are string, and the variables that we have here are storing that value. How do we check that? Okay, so we can just console log again and see it in the browser, right? But we do not pass string here, we pass the variable. So this is a string that we are passing to console log, and the string is being shown here. As you can see, we are passing in string, and that is being rendered here. But when I pass this variable holding this head value, head string value, will be printed out here. Let's go ahead and do something like heading, and as you can see, heading is being printed here. Because this head variable is holding the heading string, and it is logging out heading in here. Okay, so we do not really understand everything in the first video, but this is just me demonstrating what a variable does. So we are using a const here. So variable are using by we are using variables to store, like in var, let, and const. So variable is not used much now because it has some flaws. We'll talk about these in later videos. We use let and const for most of the time. Const is a non-mutable variable. Let's say we are trying to change our value here. Let's say hey, and now we will get an error, of course, because assignment to constant variable. We cannot reassign constant variable. We can just assign the constant variable once, and we did it right here in line 7. In line 8 we cannot change it, but we can change this one. Let's go ahead and add heading again, and now when we console log head, it will be replaced by heading again because we are redeclaring it. And as you can see, we're getting heading again. We can reassign let variables as well. Let's try and do that. Heading again and again. And as you can see, okay, we are not logging it yet, my bad. Console.log head2. Let's comment this one out. And as you can see, we're getting heading again and again. And you can see which line we're being we are printing out here. Script.js 9 number line, and that's the line we are getting console.log head2. So we are console logging this head2 variable, and this holds the value of heading again and again. So we are getting heading again and again. Okay, so I'm going into a bit technical stuff already. That's because I really love JavaScript. This is a really wonderful language, and I really love JavaScript. Okay, so we are storing a value in my heading variable, and it is targeting document.query selector. It is a kind of a selector like we did in styles.c, I mean css files, right? We target it by, let's say, h1, and we define the style here, then font size 30 pixel. So what is h1 here? H1 is a selector. We are selecting the h1 right here and then assigning a value. In a similar way, we will target the h1 here, but with document.query selector. So what is a document? Document is that document object model we've talked about already. So document.query selector and then specifying h1. We're targeting all the h1 in our element. Let's do another h1 here, and you'll see. Okay, so we are targeting the query selector of h1, and my heading text content is hello world, and we're getting it only once. Okay, I see, my bad. So document.query selector is targeting our h1 right here, and then adding the value of my heading.text content. So we're targeting the my heading and then changing the text content of this h1 to hello world. Let's say we define here by world. So we defined by world there, but we are not seeing by world. Why is that? Let's reload the page, and as you can see, we are getting by world when we have commented out this line, and we're getting by world. And let's go ahead and comment this one out, and as you can see, we're getting hello world, because the JavaScript is changing the text content of this element to hello world. We can manipulate this in many other ways. We can target the inner HTML as well, but in that case we'd have to use h1 as well, I think. I'm not sure. I haven't done vanilla JavaScript for a very long time. Is it working? Yeah, I think it is working. By world, hello world. So we are replacing the whole HTML here. Okay, it will work in quotation only, I think, for some reason. I'm not sure why. Okay, because it is a string, right? Sorry. Okay, so we can do target the inner HTML and then changing it to hello world as well. We can make it h2 as well. We can make it h3 as well. We can change the inner HTML wholly, whatever we like. Let's make it a paragraph, and let's make it a, let's a span, and we can inspect it, and it is a span now. It is a span now. It is not a heading anymore. We can change the inner HTML of it. We are manipulating the HTML. You are targeting the heading and then changing the inner HTML and making it a span. Okay, so yeah, it is the basic introduction of DOM, or document object model. We'll talk about DOM a whole lot more, because we'll be using the DOM first and then diving into other JavaScript features, or should I say programming concepts of JavaScript, because we want uh, to be able to manipulate the DOM and make our websites really interactive. So let's go ahead and learn DOM a bit more here, and then we'll wrap up this video, because we cannot learn everything in one video, of course. Okay, so what is the DOM? The document object model is a programming interface for web documents. So we cannot just change stuff in here without the DOM. We need to target the DOM, as we did in our script tag just now. We will be targeting these document object models and then manipulating them with JavaScript. So how do we access? Sorry. So we can access the DOM API directly in JavaScript within what is called a script. Okay, so body onload console.log welcome to my page. So this is saying that when body is loaded, we can display console.log welcome to my home page, right? So we have the window object. We'll talk about all of these in later videos. We do not need to understand everything right now. We just want to see some DOM. Let's go ahead and watch some images. Okay, so this is the document, and document has HTML head, body, meta title, and everything else. DOM tree example: head, body, paragraph, div, strong, hello world, anything. Whatever you want to do in a web page, we can do it with JavaScript. We can change it with JavaScript. And as you can see, we can change this to a button as well. Let's go ahead and make this a button. And as you can see, this is now a button, and we can click it. So we can target element and HTML element just like CSS, but in other ways, and then use various methods like .inner HTML or inner text, and we can change everything we want in that thing. Let's target the h1 and let's say hello world from DOM, and as you can see, it says hello world from DOM. So our JavaScript code is changing the inner text of that h1 we're targeting right here. Okay, so I actually did forgot that we cannot target multiple elements with just query selector. We need to use query selector all, I think. Okay, I forgot the method. Let's go ahead and go for a Google. You can always Google stuff and then just query selector all h1. Do we target h1 like that? I'm not sure. No. Okay. query selector all h1. Okay, let's change the example a bit and make use of paragraph and see if we can target all the paragraph and then change the text of them. Okay, no, it is not working. Wait. Document.query selector all. Query selector all. Okay. Query selector all. Okay, we can select all elements with classes. Let's add classes then. Let's add the para class to all of them, and let's target the .p because that's how we target. Okay, it is still not working for some reason. Let's see why is it not working. Document.query selector all. And we can target all the paragraph, and then in let's go ahead and log. We will be using log a lot to debug stuff in JavaScript. Let's go ahead and log what is in my heading and see what's going on. So we have a node list of 3, and as you can see we are targeting the correct thing right now. Let's go ahead and see if we have inner text. Yes, we do have inner text actually. Oh, okay. I understood this now. So by doing this query selector all, we are getting all of the elements from the, what do you say? Yeah, so we do have inner text. We can target it as well, h1, but we are getting it in array. Let's make them h1 as well, because h1 or paragraph is not the issue here. We're just getting all of them, and all of them are being provided as an array, sorry, not arrow, as an array, and we can just use 1 0 1 2 to change everything as this. So what we're doing here is we're getting query selector all, and all of the h1s are coming back to me as an array, and we're targeting the array index 1, array index meaning this one is 1 technically, but the array start from 0, and we're targeting the first one, then second one, and then third one. If we comment the third one out, we'll just get 2 of them changed and 1 of them is not changed. Okay, so that's a long video, but yeah, I ran into some bugs as you did see, but not a bug actually. It is, I have not practiced this vanilla JavaScript DOM manipulation for a long time, so I forgot the few of the things, and console.log helped me to debug this instantly. So we will be using console.log a lot for debugging or to check what's going on in our code. We will be using the debugger as well, and I will show you guys all of the way to debug your code when you run into some error. So we will be running into errors now because we are using a programming language, and HTML and CSS did not provide us much of an error because they are not that interactive to provide an error. They will just not work, and then that's it. But in JavaScript, as you did see, we were getting error already when we try to reassign the constant. As you can see, this is an error. This is a type error. We will be talking about what type of errors we have, and everything I know about JavaScript I will try and teach those to you guys. Okay, so that's a long video, and because I really like JavaScript, I tend to talk a bit more about JavaScript than everything else. So thank you very much for watching, and hope to see you guys in next video where we'll be talking a whole lot more in about JavaScript. All right, thank you very much.